Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. The Glenorchy Mayor and local police are reassuring residents action is being taken to keep the area safe following several youth crime incidents in recent weeks. The government also meeting with Tasmania's Police Commissioner today about ways to respond to the issue, but it's being dissuaded from introducing tougher laws for young offenders.
Presenting a united front on public safety amid a youth crime wave sweeping Glenorchy, police acting swiftly, deploying more boots on the ground to patrol the district.
This is a show that we are taking this matter seriously. We understand the community concerns.
Officers charging a 15-year-old last night, accused of multiple assaults in the area on Sunday evening and last week, also allegedly in possession of a knife. But despite the recent disturbances, authorities say there's no cause for alarm.
What we're seeing is an isolated, relatively small number of incidents that have occurred over the last couple of weeks.
So does Glenorchy's mayor, who says crime dropped significantly in December.
We also need to keep in context that it was just school holidays, so we had a lot of bored kids roaming around the city. I'd like to assure everyone that Glenorchy is a beautiful, safe city. Saying
recent comments by independent MLC Beck Thomas were off the mark.
I think we definitely got a shock with the tone that was used. No other politician from Clark has come out swinging either.
The spike in youth offending in Hobart's North prompting the government to meet with the state's top cop today, insisting all options are on the table to tackle the issue across the state.
Policy prescriptions like they have in Queensland, adult crime for adult time, a range of other opportunities so that we can target the repeat violent offenders.
But more groups are urging against beefed up penalties for young offenders, saying prevention and early intervention should be the priority.
It has no impact on crime rates. It doesn't address the drivers of why it is that people are coming into contact with the justice system.
It will cause harm to children, and any society that engages in that kind of practice has completely lost its way.
Anthony Dodd, 7 Tasmania News.
An environmental group from the UK has released concerning underwater footage which they say was captured inside salmon pens in McQuaryy Harbour. It's sparked outrage locally, with many Tasmanians still divided on the industry's social licence.
This vision was recorded as part of an underwater investigation led by UK charity the Green British Foundation.
The factory farmed salmon industry doesn't want you to see this. McQuaryy Harbour, Tasmania.
The group indicating the exact spot where seemingly deformed fish were captured on camera. Those coordinates leading straight to McQuaryy Harbour, where the endangered Maugean skate solely survive.
What is appalling is that it has to come out from a non-government organisation when in fact we should know what is happening in those feedlots.
The Bob Brown Foundation say it's known that genetically modified or triploid salmon exist in the harbour, meaning fish can suffer abnormalities if grown at a faster rate.
The main concern about the vision was the sheer number of deformed, suffering salmon. New fish after new fish with absolute malformed bodies swam past the camera.
One Green senator labelling it a government failure.
They've not only weakened Australia's environment laws for the benefit of the salmon farming corporations, they've also failed to regulate this industry.
Oh, I don't accept that at all. We've continued to enact or carry out the environmental protection laws in this nation in a way which meets the needs of the environment.
Salmon Tasmania say the group behind the footage have zero understanding of the robust framework and environmental monitoring of the harbour, confirming deformed fish are not processed for human consumption. Environmentalists now calling for the Premier to allow independent investigators in to check salmon pens.
We have regulators that work through the food safety matters that you raise and animal welfare matters too. But this is being raised by groups that have no other goal other than shutting down the jobs.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, hundreds of social and affordable homes across Tasmania could be on the chopping block if Peter Dutton takes office on Saturday, according to Labor. The Deputy Prime Minister hitting the local campaign trail amid concerns the Liberals will scrap the Housing Australia Future Fund.
With that, those projects will go by the wayside. They will not be built.
It adds a lot of uncertainty to our future pipeline and to a lot of Tasmanians in need of this great affordable and social housing.
The Liberals keeping the focus on proposed fuel cuts.
Everyone's going to benefit from that, everyone that drives and fills the car up. It's a real plan, it's going to help, and it's going to help on day one of a coalition government.
Insisting its cost of living relief measures stack up and is a stronger plan for Tasmanians. The state opposition is demanding answers on whether construction of Berth 3 in Devonport is on track to be completed by early 2027 for the new Spirits. Labor says the Transport Minister told the Public Accounts Committee in March she hoped things will be clearer by about this time next month. The party is calling on the government to come clean.
Whenever the government goes quiet, you start getting nervous that the arrival date for the Spirits to be operating is going to get even later.
Construction is continuing apace. As far as Labor, you can tell that they've got nothing to talk about when they bring up this issue.
The government says it's getting on with the job to deliver the project and nothing has changed with the timeline. A man involved in a crash in the Launceston suburb of St Leonards almost 2 weeks ago has died. The 32-year-old was a passenger in a Mazda sedan which collided with another vehicle on Johnston Street. The driver, a 27-year-old woman, died at the scene. A report will be prepared for the coroner. The Hobart City Council has formally opposed the McQuaryy Point Stadium proposal in its submission to Tasmania's Planning Commission. Lord Mayor Anna Reynolds says the project's negatives, including heritage, environmental and planning concerns, outweigh the benefits.
I think a lot of us had concerns that this wasn't the right building for this site. It was too big and would limit the use of this very strategic site to just a few days of activity.
The council also voted not to hold an elector poll on the project. One of Tasmania's most well-preserved convict heritage sites has been thrown a lifeline. Just weeks after Longford's Wulmers Estate warned it was at risk of closing, it may now have secured the support it needs to keep its doors open.
So well preserved, it's like its original occupants walked out the door just moments ago.
This site is on the World Heritage List for a reason.
But cracks are always in the background at Wulmers Estate, and appropriate support for the upkeep of the property hasn't been easy to secure until now.
For years we've struggled to meet heritage operational costs from very limited resources.
A re-elected Labor government promising to set aside $800,000 over 2 years for maintenance of not just Wulmers, but also nearby Brickenden.
This is extremely welcome news. I mean, the flexibility is what we wanted all along.
Wulmers was previously limited to applying for grants, which restricted how the money was used, allocating it for specific projects only.
So we would be able to provide this funding for the board to use at their discretion.
Helping turn the estate into a more sustainable business by increasing tourist numbers with innovative interpretation.
And it's not just for Wulmers, it's for the whole region here too.
Liberal candidate for Lyons, Susie Bauer, says if elected she looks forward to engaging with both properties to understand how the sites can be preserved and supported.
I think Wulmers is important to the north as Port Arthur is to the south.
A pledge to ensure one of Tasmania's oldest heritage sites isn't lost to history. Tom Crosby, 7 Tasmania News.
Hobart and Glenorchy councils are joining forces to demand fair federal funding, arguing southern Tasmania is being left behind this election campaign. They're pointing to a stark funding gap, claiming the electorate of Clark has received only $12 million of commitment promises, compared to $157 million in Bass and over $400 million in Lyons.
It's $116 coming to each person in Clark. Whereas it's about $3,500 to each person in Lyons.
Now in Glenorchy we have a dire need for an $83.8 million wellness centre called a swimming pool, and we've got no chance of getting it with just on $12 million of promises.
The federal government says funding is allocated based on the needs of each community. Larger planes will soon be able to touch down at one of Tasmania's major airports. A new taxiway will be a huge step forward, opening the door to greater freight capacity and more opportunity for local businesses.
Breaking ground before touching down. This is the beginning of a new taxiway at Launceston Airport. The tarmac hasn't seen an upgrade this big since the 1960s, and it's setting northern Tasmania up for the future.
To cater for our larger A321 aircraft that Qantas are operating here, as well as the larger aircraft of Virgin Air Freight Toll and other freighter operators here.
6,000 cubic metres of soil will be excavated, enough to fill the Cataract Gorge pool more than 4 times. The new taxiway leads to the airport's freight terminal, allowing bigger planes with 40% more capacity to land here.
We're building infrastructure to support passenger growth and freight growth here.
The $5 million project benefiting local producers who've long been demanding extra capacity across Bass Strait, allowing them to reach more markets in less time.
Air freight is growing very quickly here in Tasmania. The airlines and the aviation operators are upgrading their aircraft, and that's necessitating the growth of our infrastructure here to cater for these freighters.
With shovels already in the ground, the aim is to have it completed by spring. But the taxiway isn't the only project keeping airport bosses on their toes. Work's well underway on departure hall upgrades.
This is on top of course, record passenger numbers at Launceston Airport.
It all points to busy times at the airport. Matthew Watson, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania will rely more on wind, solar and electricity imported from other states in the future as Hydro Tasmania grapples with climate change. After leaning heavily on gas when our dams neared crisis levels this summer, Hydro told a parliamentary energy inquiry it's been working with the CSIRO to model long-term rainfalls.
We are seeing more volatility and so we need to be prepared for that. We don't see a significant long-term decline in average inflows.
TasNetworks bosses telling the hearing hundreds more workers will be needed to build the new northwest transmission line connecting to Marinus. Given the existing housing shortage, a camp will most likely be built, which could remain afterwards to benefit the community. Hobart City 2 Casino is back this year with big goals and fresh challenges. From school student-teacher rivalries to inspiring stories of resilience, there's something for the whole community to enjoy.
From masked heroes to hungry students, this year's City to Casino is shaping up to be more than just a race.
Last year we had 2,700 and we're hoping to get to 3,000 this year. The entries are tracking around about the same as last year, so we're really hoping that families and the community can get behind it in this next 3 weeks.
Ready to run is little Henry, aka The Flash, who's back for a second year as the Cystic Fibrosis Ambassador. But today, forget the race. It was our microphone that stole the spotlight for the little superhero.
He likes being on the camera.
By wearing the mask, it's sort of symbolising that not everything you see is the same underneath.
The event is also encouraging school participation with a fun challenge, Beat the Principal. And at Montrose Bay High, there's more than just pride on the line.
For a bit of an incentive at school, I've said that I'll pay for lunch at the canteen for any students that can knock me off on the 12-kilometre race. So,
probably some wedges and gravy. Sounds good to me, I reckon.
Adding to the excitement of the event, a over 40 category will be competing for a special memorial trophy, honouring the legacy of City to Casino founder Frank Hill.
He went to watch the City to Surf in the early 70s and decided it was a great event, and Tasmania needed something like that.
The event making sure there's a place for everyone on the starting line come May 18. Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmania News.
The need for surgical hip and knee replacements could soon significantly reduce after a successful trial in Hobart. An osteoarthritis treatment program is expanding into the north, guided by physiotherapy and strength training.
There's non-surgical interventions, which means that to treat osteoarthritis, they have another choice other than joint replacement surgery.
It puts less pressure on hospitals and also helps people live a better quality of life as well.
A purpose-built facility is set to be constructed before welcoming the first Northern patients early next year.
Despite not conceding a single goal in their last 2 games, the Burnie women are sitting way down in 5th on the tight NWFL ladder heading into round 4. Still looking for more after dispatching the luckless Latrobe side 65-0 on Saturday.
It was a good game that we played. We felt like we could have done a little bit better, but that's okay. We got the win in the end.
The men's ladder is equally congested. Undefeated Wynyard stuck in 2nd. They face a fresh test this weekend against Burnie.
I'm just saying where we're going to sit later in the year, so got a few sides we still haven't versed yet, so it'll be good to see where we're at with Burnie and Devonport.
And 2 Tassie sprinters are heading to the 2025 World Athletics Relays in Guangzhou, China. Jacob Despard named in the men's team to contest the 4x100 metre relay from Saturday next week, and Laura McShane in the women's 4x400 metre. It's the first time Australia will enter a team in all 6 races at the event. Good luck to them, Kim.
Thank you, Nick. We're off to a break now, and then Murph will join us with the weather.
Good evening. Hobart 14 degrees today. Launceston had 15, Devonport and Burnie 16. Did you feel a bit colder today? Well, not surprising. Some temperatures up to 4 degrees below average. Smithton and King Island 17, Flinders Island and Lowhead 16, St Helens and Ouse 15 today. Friendly Beaches and Strawn 14, Lyawini a top of just 7. Mostly clear over the north and northwest as cloud mainly stuck over the south and up along the east coast. Areas of low-level cloud over much of southeast Australia. Some thunderstorms gathered over southeast New South Wales. High cloud over the top end and Cape York. Tomorrow, the high to the west of Tasmania extends a ridge over us and most of the country as well. A weak trough brushes the southern New South Wales coast, another cold front well to the south of WA. Southwest to southeasterly winds at 5 to 15 knots tomorrow, although up to 20 knots over eastern waters. Hobart, a high of 14, a cloudy day. Same for Geeveston, 12 the top for Bothwell after a morning frost. Launceston mostly sunny, 16 the high, 16 also for Devonport, partly cloudy but fine for Cressy, 1 overnight, 15 the high. 16 for Burnie and mostly sunny. Strawn okay, 15 the top and 17 the high for Curry on King Island. St Helens a possible shower though, 40% chance, 15 the top, 15 for Swansea. Orford a cloudy, 14 degrees. On Thursday, fine and mostly sunny, the chance of a shower over the far southwest. A frosty start to a mainly fine Friday. Once again a shower over the southwest, creeping up the west coast a bit. And on Saturday the winds swing around to the north, so hopefully a slight rise in temperatures and a fine sunny day. A sunny day on the way for Perth and Adelaide tomorrow, partly cloudy and 18 for Melbourne, showers and 21 in Sydney, a possible shower and up to 27 degrees in Brisbane. Currently clear in Hobart, 9 degrees, 11 right now in Launceston, partly cloudy in Devonport, 11. Kim, you might be wondering what this is. Well, I got a parcel in the mail today. Thank you very much, Jeanette of Kingston, who was so concerned about my well-being that she sent me just what I need, some wrinkle, lifting and firming cream. Wrinkle and firming cream, Kim. I just don't know where to apply it.
Oh, don't you hate people with 4K high-vis TVs? It's a true story, they really did. Murph, I'll borrow it if you don't want it. That is all your news for now. We'll have news, sport and weather updates later. For now, it is good night. You're looking good.